I believe Harry and Meghan leaked the news of Frogmore Cottage and planted the news of Lilibet. This is why. Number one, King Charles started the eviction process around January 11th. No one heard of the eviction till 3 months later in March. If the palace wanted this news leaked to the public would have found out about it a lot sooner. Number two, the story coincided with reports of coronation emails between Harry and the royal office. It also coincides with stories of Lilibet's christening. The reporter who broke the story of the coronation email exchange between Harry and Meghan admitted that she had been asking Harry and Meghan about their coronation plans for a while, but wasn't getting an answer from them whenever she asked. All of a sudden, right when news of the eviction broke, the reporter got an answer from Harry and Meghan that they hadn't made up their minds yet.
It was an interesting response. It wasn't quite the response I suppose I was expecting. I was just very keen and asked whether or not they had received an invite. And got it very late on Saturday night that they had, in fact, been invited by the king.
Coincidence? I think not. Harry and Meghan do not want to go to the coronation. They cannot be adults about it because they fear any type of backlash or scrutiny. If they do consider attending the coronation, I believe that they have a long list of stipulations that they are expecting the royal family to adhere to, and that's the only way that they will make it to the coronation. After a lot of back and forth of email exchanges between them and the royal office, and they not getting their way, they used the media to try to get to the king or the royal family. Here's what I believe happened. They leaked the story of being asked to leave Frogmore Cottage and tried to spin it as a terrible eviction from the king. According to their favorite source, Omid Scobie, their initial response to this eviction was that they were devastated. After realizing that the public was in favor of the king evicting them, they switched their response to being okay with leaving Frogmore. In order to prove to the public and to the royal family that they were okay with it, especially with the conflicting reports of their responses, they staged paparazzi shots to somehow show that they are okay. That backfired. So now their strategy is this new spin using Lilibet's christening. Reports came out on March 8th that Lilibet had been christened and that they invited the royal family to Lilibet's christening, but none of them attended. I'm pretty sure they sent that invitation a day before the christening just so they can spin this story. That's if they even sent an invitation at all. Lilibet is almost 2 years old. Most babies get christened before they turn 1. I find the timing of this report very suspicious. In their imagination, they now have something that they can stand on. The royal family didn't attend our daughter's christening, so we're not going to attend the king's coronation. And this king is such a mean king who tried to evict us. This is their plan. This is what Harry and Meghan want to do. They're trying to further perpetuate this narrative of the royal family being racist, bigoted, and mean. It is also reported that they christened Lily as princess. Now that King Charles is king, Lilibet and Archie by custom can have the titles of prince and princess. They couldn't when Queen Elizabeth was queen because of the Order of Ascension. But it is completely up to the king to make the decision on whether they have the titles prince or princess or not. Now, these are the same people who said they want their children to grow up and decide on their own whether they want to have titles or not. These are the same people that said they themselves don't want titles, but Meghan uses it every chance she gets and corrects people when they don't use it. These are the same people that seem to want the monarchy abolished, yet they want to keep the titles and perks of this same monarchy. If there's no monarchy, there are no perks. It all boils down to this. In Harry's 60-minute interview with Anderson Cooper, he said the reason why he wrote his book Spare is because he is not like his family. He doesn't want to plant and leak stories. He is the direct source.
Trying to speak a language that perhaps they understand, I will sit here and speak truth to you with the words that come out of my mouth, rather than using someone else, an unnamed source.
He found a way to tell himself that the royal family and firm were out to get him and Meghan. One of their weapons of choice was leaking and planting false stories about him and his wife.
to feed in lies or a narrative to a tabloid media that literally radicalizes its readers to then potentially cause harm to my family, my wife, my kids.
He claimed that the royal family will give stories directly to reporters, and reporters will then run the stories, stating that the stories are from a source.
You say you tried to do this privately.
And every single time I've tried to do it privately, there have been briefings and leakings and planting of stories against me and my wife.
But there was no source. It was the royal family. And the number one culprit in this media assault of Harry and Meghan was his stepmother, Camilla. This is what Harry said. Well, guess what? Today, Harry and Meghan are planting and leaking stories to the media. They are using sources. They are using publications. Maybe we should go back to why this whole thing started in the first place. It was because Harry hated the media. We've established on this channel that his hate for the media is because it probably wrestles with his internal belief system. As a child, Harry was told by Diana that he could do whatever he wanted so far as he doesn't get caught. The media catches him all the time. Whether he's caught in a lie, being irresponsible, or being ridiculous, he's always caught. And that's what he doesn't like. That's what's hard for him. Because all his life, he grew up thinking he could do whatever he wants, just so far as he doesn't get caught. So now he hates the media, but he's using the same media to further his own agenda. He claims he's better than his family because of his own wild imaginations, but is now doing the same thing he accused his family of. In a twisted way, Harry really thinks the royal family cares about stories planted in the media about them. He really thinks Charles and William lay in their beds at night, crying over fake news. It really does go to show, though, how little Harry knows about the level of work Charles or William have to do on a daily basis as ambassadors or statesmen. A clear example of that is when Meghan joined the royal fold. They assigned Harry and Meghan to countries that love and receive the royal family well. They weren't assigned to places that require extensive levels of diplomacy. They assigned people like Princess Anne, Sophie, even William and Catherine to countries that require political knowledge and diplomacy, because this is a job. It is not just about handshakes and receiving flowers on walkabouts, about taking selfies with people or private planes and titles. It is a job. Even this also shows that if the royal family hated Meghan, they would have assigned her to tougher countries, countries that riot, countries whose prime ministers and presidents have conflicts that need to be smoothed out. That way, the royal family or the firm could then turn around and blame the riots for why Meghan is terrible and use that to boot her out. But they didn't. They gave Harry and Meghan an easy lift with the countries that they were assigned by assigning them easy countries that love the royal family. The number of things the royal family did for Meghan that are not typically done for newcomers is enormous. And Harry knows this. Yet he is being driven by his jealousy and his hatred for his brother. I have no words, but I just want to leave you all with this quote. As iron is eaten away by rust, so the envious are consumed by their own passion. Hello there, everyone, and welcome to the Monday Start Club. We're helping you with all the tools that you need to succeed in life. Subscribe now and join the club.